Hello and greetings to all. I had begun a topic last time that I posted a video dealing with people, organizations whom I have referred to as Afrocentric, Black empowerment groups, and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and deviate just a bit from that particular topic and veer it back to the topic of spirituality, namely brown spirituality, decolonized spirituality. And I just thought I'd jump on here and speak a little as to my own approach to spirituality. I have mentioned scantily throughout the videos that I record that I come from a Christian background, specifically Catholicism, up to when I was like 14. Actually, I've always been very curious as far as learning more. So if I assign myself a title, I'm going to research it. I'm going to learn everything that there is to learn about that particular title. In this case, as a Catholic, obviously I began to be curious as to what all was included in the package deal, if that's a good analogy. As a matter of fact, my uncle's wife, I guess she could be my aunt, her father was big into the church, so he noticed my curiosity and he was and books and all sorts of material to kind of reinforce my Catholic identity since he was just blood red passionate about Catholicism. I didn't find what I was looking for, so I began to go into Protestantism. The first denomination that I attended once I left the Catholic Church was a Church of Christ, which, in my words back then, when I walked in, it was like a house. Like there was no statues, there was no crucifixes, no crosses. All the imagery and the that I was used to in the Catholic Church was just non-existent. But actually, at the end of the service, I did feel a little more full spiritually. Like the preacher actually got somewhere. It wasn't just needless repetition. Stand up, sit down, say this after me, repeat after me. So I actually got baptized in the Church of Christ. This is to a lot of my Christian listeners, a lot of Christian peers who say, maybe you just got to give God and Jesus a chance. I gave them plenty of chance. Now that I'm decolonizing, I have outgrown them, just like we outgrow anything else. But at the same time that I've outgrown certain concepts that are colonial, I have actually translated them and adapted them to my life, in order to suit and serve me currently. It's not to say we should always be evolving. We should always be through a metamorphosis that should only culminate once we abandon this earth robe. But my spirituality works for me currently. This is not to say that I'm obstinate. And I'm going to do a video after this titled My Issue with Religion. That's the thing with religion, that you're obstinate. You're just on your high horse and you're not going to be changed or convinced or persuaded otherwise. And that kind of keeps you, anywho. So I went through the from when I was like 16. That's when I got baptized. So that's when I was initiated into Christianity, because I wasn't baptized as a child. As a lot of my Catholic listeners might know, you usually get baptized as a baby. I didn't. As a matter of fact, I was going to catechism. It's interesting. I was going to catechism because when my mom saw that I was kind of being interested in Protestantism, she was like, oh no, we're going to get you back in the church. You're going to take catechism right after school. We would go to church and go through the whole learning, because as a traditional Mexican woman, like, she had Catholicism also ingrained in her. um, so God forbid that I abandoned the church to go to these hallelujah cristianos people. So I was Christian till, like, I want to say 20, my late 20s, and that is when I grew in awareness as far as my indigenous heritage and how at odds it's ever been with not necessarily Christianity, because when you think Christianity, you may actually be referring to the events that took place in the New Testament. Jesus, Yeshua, whatever you want to call him, back in Nazareth and his followers and whatnot. But this is more, I refer to it as Eurocentrism. As far this is the spiritual aspect of Eurocentrism. The why Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Christianity as a whole has gone through a transformation in order to suit the agenda wherein it is being utilized to the max. Of course, I don't know if I've spoken about this, but in history books, you might recall the term manifest destiny, which is, pretty much, and just saying it evokes the image of the angel flying westward. Um, and it's pretty much to say that it is a decree from God, that the white man was supposed to expand westwardly. And I'm going to go into detail into this as well. I speak about this in my book, and the second book, which is the part two of reconstructing a brown identity, also addresses how it's been utilized. Because then a lot of people jump on me and say, well, just admit that the Indians lost. Just admit that the spirituality, the technology, and whatnot of the white man was superior. Well, when you build your movement on the foundation of an ancient people, in this case, the ancient Hebraic people, and when you pretty much appropriate their culture and just build upon that foundation that's already been established, a lot of it might come easier to you. And then it's like a certain universality of the same God that is present in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. So I'm going to continue this topic forward. The video that follows is one titled "My Issue with Religion." What is my issue with religion, and how do I what do I propose if any of us are dealing with certain family members or loved ones that are so caught up with religion? So stay tuned.